And welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. This Saturday morning video is going to be a wee quick post-match review of Celtic's 1-0 win last night in our first pre-season friendly game over Queen's Park. We look at some of the key incidents, who played well, and also one or two wee bits of news coming through from Brendan Rodgers' press conference. Also confirmation that Celtic have made their sixth signing of the summer. In essence, 5 of the players are expected to be into the first team squad one way or another, and Isaac English, the very promising centre-back coming from Morton, will be going into the academy and the B team to see how he keeps on progressing. And also some confirmation that one player, Mike Nawrocki, is going to be going off on loan, it is thought. And also a wee update on the situation regarding Gustav Lagerbielke. So last night, Celtic started their pre-season friendlies against Queen's Park in the evening, a 7:45 kickoff. Celtic had started with Doohan in goal, and the young players Donovan and Murray and Montgomery across the back four, with Austin Trusty at left centre-back. Experienced midfield with McCowan, McGregor and Engels, and with Mitchell Frame in a more advanced role than he usually has been playing for Celtic, and Jude Bonner on the other side with Johnny Kenny through the middle. And in the end, Celtic won 1-0 with a Johnny Kenny goal in the 20th minute. Nice cutback pass by Mitchell Frame, and Johnny Kenny smashed the ball into the top of the net and put Celtic 1-0 up, and pretty much Celtic were the dominant team for the rest of the game and had been dominant for that first 20 minutes. Celtic had a couple of more chances in the first half. Austin Trusty had a header that was cleared. Jude Bonner also had another header that was close to scoring, but the Queen's Park managed to keep the score down to 1-0. Celtic didn't really have much in the way to do defensively. Ross Doohan looked nice and calm and composed in the goal, made a couple of easy saves. And at half-time, Brendan Rodgers took off all of the outfield players, sending on all the academy and B players, apart from Stephen Welsh, who came on to be the captain for the second half, slotting into defence. Ross Doohan remained on the pitch till around about the 60th minute to be replaced by Josh Clark for the last half hour. In the second half, Celtic kept on being on top, had a few more good chances. The very promising player Thomas Hatton had a good shot that was well saved by the Queen's Park goalie, Sam Izaguzo, who's been doing well in the academy and the B team last season. Probably should have scored, but couldn't quite get the ball past the goalkeeper. And Celtic ended up winning just 1-0. A game on another day that could easily have been 3-4-5-0. Main thing was 45 minutes of game time into players likely to be in Celtic's starting 11 later this season. Players like McGregor and Engels and Trusty. Not certain whether McCowan will make a start. Depends probably on how well Hatati's back from his injury, and also if Celtic bring any other midfielders in. I think probably, as things stand, it's going to be Trusty or Scales as Cameron Carter-Vickers' partner in central defence, given the fact that, as we'll come to later, Nawrocki and Lagerbielke appear to be on their way out. Promising performances, I think, from a few of the younger players. I think Dane Murray might well end up being one of our backup central defenders. I think that probably does also signal that Stephen Welsh will be leaving the club. Thought that Mitchell Frame looked nice and promising down one side. Jude Bonner, I think, looked good as well. Turley and McCardle in the second half showed some nice touches, and Johnny Kenny got a goal. Quite what Johnny Kenny's role is going to be for this season is less certain. Probably depends on whether Celtic get any more strikers in, as I'm sure they are intending to do, but sometimes trying to do what you intend to do falls through because some players don't want to come and play for Celtic. Sometimes clubs decide they're not going to sell their player. Sometimes players get better offers or a more attractive offer from a bigger, richer league, and so you can be full of intentions but never quite get things over the line, despite how hard you try. Celtic's next pre-season game is on Tuesday in Cork. Brendan Rodgers was saying that the bulk of the squad should be coming back into training this weekend or early next week. However, it will be too early for players such as Kieran Tierney to be playing against Cork. Possibly we might see Benjamin Negrin and Callum Osmond having a wee run out against Cork City, but I think definitely they'll both be back in for the squad for the behind closed doors pre-season friendly in Portugal in a week's time. As I was saying, some transfer news. It was confirmed that Hayato Inamura has signed from Albirex Niigata in the Japanese J-League, £250,000 fee. He's going to be wearing the number 25 shirt, which is the shirt that Shunsuke Nakamura and Lubo Moravcik both wore before. Don't think that Inamura is as good as either of those two players, but it is still early in his career. He's had 2 half seasons in Japanese football. He is 23, so he is that wee bit more mature than many players in this situation. But we'll see how things develop with him. Rodgers was kind of saying that he's going to be having a look at Inamura in the pre-season and the first month or two, and then gauging probably in mid-late August whether to keep Inamura as part of the squad, keep him developing at Celtic Park and at Lennoxtown training ground, or whether to send him off on loan. Certainly, if we do send him off on loan, hopefully it's to another Scottish team, Falkirk, Motherwell, Livingston, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, etc., so that we can keep a closer eye on him rather than sending him off to Germany or to Belgium or wherever. I think in the long run, Inamura might well turn more into a left back than a centre back for Celtic. He is a very, very good passer, very good on the ball, has a lot of pace, and I think he actually might slot in better as a tall left back rather than a smaller central defender. Inamura has been signed on a 4-year deal, and I think the indications are that Inamura may take a wee bit of time to settle into the team, may take a wee bit of time to develop, but I think it looks like Celtic are making plans for the future, and which also makes it more likely that Celtic are looking to change Inamura into a left back rather than keeping him as a centre back, but we'll see how all that pans out. And so it may not be until the second half of the season or next season that we really start to see Inamura play, but then he could surprise us in the pre-season games and the training, etc., and develop more quickly and fit in more quickly, as he is obviously coming straight from playing in the Japanese J-League for a couple of months and also actually performing very well more often than not for Albirex Niigata, and so he at least won't really need any time to gain match fitness, and that he's been playing matches on a regular basis. At the same time as Inamura was signing, Nawrocki was flying off to Germany for a medical. The story is that Mike Nawrocki is going to be moving to Hannover 96, who are in the Bundesliga 2, on a season-long loan with an option for Hannover to buy him at the end of that loan deal. But Nawrocki has spent a lot of the 2 years at Celtic since he signed in the summer of 23, being injured or recovering from injury. And that really, I think, is why he's not really settled down at Celtic, as I do think he and Gustav Lagerbielke are both very talented central defenders, but neither seems to have really become a Brendan Rodgers player, despite the fact that Rodgers signed them both, and Rodgers greenlit the transfers of both those players, and he'd been in job as a Celtic manager for quite a number of weeks before both those players were signed. However, Nawrocki looks like he is off to Germany on loan for Hannover, and I doubt we'll see him playing for Celtic again. Gustav Lagerbielke has been over in Portugal for medical with SC Braga and contract talks. It's thought that it's going to be a £2 million deal, so Celtic losing about £1 million on the deal that brought him to Celtic 24 months ago. That deal has not yet been fully confirmed, but I would expect it will go through and be confirmed probably on Monday or Tuesday. I'm excited to see Gustav Lagerbielke go. I think he's a lot better defender than Brendan Rodgers thought. After all, he is part of the full Swedish international squad. He was one of the rated high defenders, central defenders last year in the Dutch league, a league that overall is generally stronger than the Scottish league. And he more than held his own and was one of the key players for FC20 all last season in defence. However, FC20 have decided to go a different route and are looking for an experienced centre back rather than a younger centre back. And I do personally think that Lagerbielke is going to go to Portuguese football with SC Braga, get more and more regular game time. And I think in a year or two's time, we could easily see Lagerbielke moving to one of the bigger, richer European leagues. As I do think he has all the keys, all the talents and skills to turn himself into a good or very good central defender if his manager invested and boosted his confidence, which doesn't seem to be the case at Celtic, where Rodgers has not really given Lagerbielke a chance to re-establish himself, having got himself sent off against Feyenoord in the Champions League match over there. Rodgers also said quite interesting comments in his post-game interviews, saying quite pointedly that Nicholas Kuhn had got the move, the transfer that he wanted, which does suggest, as there has been many rumours about, that Kuhn has been agitating for a move ever since the January transfer window, and it does look like Celtic have done very good business, getting 19 to 20 million euros, so somewhere around about 16, 17 million pounds, a good 13, 14 million pound profit on the transfer from Rapid Vienna 18 months ago. And it does look like Kuhn was unsettled and unhappy at Celtic and wanted away. Does open up potential spot on the right-hand side. May well be Benjamin Nygren, our new Swedish international player that fits in there. It may be that Yang gets a go there. Maybe that James Forrest, assuming he comes back fit in pre-season, he gets a go there. Also, still a lot of stories that Celtic are in the market to sign a new wide player or two, with top of the list still appearing to be Michel Onge Balikwisha of Royal Antwerp. And last stories were that Celtic and Antwerp are still in negotiations regarding the asking price and what Celtic are going to offer. It does appear that the negotiations are progressing and the two teams are coming closer and closer in terms of asking price and what Celtic will pay. No other news that I can find of any interest or any importance mid-morning on Saturday morning, so we'll finish the video off there. As always, just a wee polite suggestion, encouragement for those not subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscriber button. Keep the numbers slowly going up and up and up. And as usual, do pop your own thoughts regarding Celtic's performance against Queen's Park yesterday evening, who you thought did well, any players you think who are academy or B players who deserve a more of a go in the pre-season friendly games, and any thoughts on any other Celtic issues. And so until the next video, goodbye and Hail, hail.